WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and WNST.net. It's certainly running between the raindrops has been no fun for anybody out at the golf area this week, and certainly for the horse race, and certainly for the baseball team on Tuesday night. We found out how the weather goes, but here's a guy that I know will play in any golf conditions. He was watching the PGA over the weekend. I made a nice little visit down to Pasadena to check out Compass Pointe and all 36 holes of their golf course, and meeting Mike and Tom and the guys that keep the greens bikini wax there. But Robert Canady has all things together down at Compass Pointe Golf to give us our golf update for the week. Not often that a guy's wife getting arrested on the tour sort of supersedes a PGA championship, but it's all anybody's talking about here this week. It's not that Simpson won. It's that there was an altercation and mugshots of guys' wives. Last time we saw this, Tiger Woods had a golf club to his windshield, right?
Exactly.
What the hell's going on that tour out there, man? I thought this was the peaceful tour, the golf tour.
It's supposed to be the gentleman's tour, right?
Right, quiet on the greens there, all that.
Although this time it wasn't the player, being accused, the aggressor. It was his wife, apparently. We've all heard our wives say we should earn more money or we should get a better job or whatever, but I guess Lucas Glover's wife took it to the extreme after he missed the cut over the weekend.
Well, I've been in Vegas where a guy loses a bet because somebody misses a shot or something like that, right? And they go nuts. But, in this particular case, the wife could go out and, and get after the golfer, right? So that it's more than the gallery. They let her out on. It's kind of crazy, right, this story?
Yeah, it is. I mean, poor Webb Simpson, he gets his first win since, in like 5 or 6 years and, runs away from the field and what should have been the big story, he gets one day of, in the headlines, and then, this takes over, but it was crazy. I mean, it's funny, like you said, because it's, this type of stuff isn't, really seen on the PGA Tour as much, like you said. It's
When's the last time a guy's wife got arrested and there was a mugshot of her on the front of my website? Like, literally. When did that happen
Probably one of John Daly's wives, that came out of the strip club one night or something. So it doesn't happen often. That's honestly about the only thing I can think of. I mean, you don't even hear too many golfers getting in trouble, let alone their wives, getting dragged to the car, kicking and screaming and yelling at the police. And to be in the backyard of the PGA Tour headquarters there in Jacksonville, I'm sure it's not the publicity they wanted this week, but hey, it's given us all something to laugh about. And I've heard all the comments, looking at her mugshot, like you can see the craziness in her eyes, it's funny story because, by all accounts, Lucas Glover is a very mild-mannered guy and, one of the, quiet guys. He's won a U.S. Open several years ago, but, he has struggled recently and everything. So it's the last thing he needed, to try while he's trying to get his game back together.
He is Robert Canady. He's down at Pasadena. There's no crazy wives down there, but a lot of ladies. I saw ladies out. I mean, what you're doing down there with 36 holes, you got leagues, you had your craft beer open last week, and you're gearing up for this event you're doing later on in the summer, just sort of making the formal announcement. Tell me about this world's biggest, largest golf. What are you trying to do down there in August again?
Yeah, it's the world's largest golf outing. It's actually I know we touched on it briefly during your visit. We appreciate you coming out. But it's a Billy Casper corporate thing, so it's not just us. It's all 140 courses in our family across the U.S. We pick one day every year where all 140 of us have a golf tournament, that we put on, just like we do our craft open and night golf.
So this is like a nationwide tournament then. Okay, I understand.
Yeah, no angry wives, no angry wives that week. So so we put on the golf tournament, we run everything, and then a portion of the proceeds that we come in that day go to the Fisher House. And the Fisher House, for people that's not aware of it, it's a really great organization. I mean, the simple terms, it's like the Ronald McDonald House for the military. They've got several of them throughout the U.S. They have a really nice one down here in Bethesda, where their headquarters is. So it's where military can stay while they're being treated at a military hospital. Their families can stay there if they're visiting them. And, they do some really, really good stuff. And, there'll be more information to come on it throughout the summer. We'll throw out some registration info and everything as we get closer. But it's a date, August 6th, if people want to go ahead and mark that on their calendar. It's something that we do, one of our bigger events we do each year. We kind of do what we do. We roll out, 100 some golfers on the course and let them, give them some beverages during the day, feed them afterwards, and it's always a good time. And they there's where they can get sponsorships. Everyone, of course, they go out and try to get donations for people, to so they can have the highest fundraising team. So it's not just funds that come from the actual golf that go to the Fisher House, but each team is kind of in a competition to raise the most funds and donations for their, just like you see with the cancer walks and things like that. So it's a really big deal for us. We kind of spend most of the summer leading up to it and promoting it, and it's 3 months away, but we're looking forward to that on August 6th.
You guys do night golf down there too, don't you?
We do that a couple times a year. I think our next one's coming up in June, so it'll be June when the days are longer. It'll really be night golf. It probably won't kick off until 7 or 8 o'clock at night. A little meal before you go out and play, and then you play 9 holes with glow-in-the-dark balls, and it's a fun time. It's some people play no worse at night than they do in the day.
Do they glow orange or do they glow green? What do they glow?
They orange usually. So they've got a little chip in them that upon impact they kind of light up for a little bit. The orange balls that land, and we put some little flare type markers out on the fairway so you can kind of line it like you're seeing your aiming point and everything. So it's always a fun time. It's an event that pretty much sells out every time we have it, and we do it 2 or 3 times a year. So that's a good time. That'll be in June. Robert
Canady is here. He is at Compass Pointe Golf. They're down in Pasadena. You can learn more at compasspointegolf.com about all the events they do. I learned about all the food on the menu down there. You have a unique driving range situation down there where you can drive off the grass and you don't have to drive off of what I like to call those little plastic mats, right? That most of the ranges have, correct?
Exactly. That's we have one of the largest grass driving ranges in the area. Because having the 2 courses, we often have 150 or so players, getting ready at the same time. So, we opened it up. It's open seasonal. We opened it like in April, and it'll stay open through late October, November. During the grass growing season. So, except for days, like we've had some days this week where we have all day rain and everything. Then we will move back onto the mats, but. Otherwise, it gives you a chance to hit off the grass just like you're going to be going out on the course, and it's easier all the way around. Players like it better. You get a better feel for the ball. It's easier on your joints. You're not banging your clubs into this hard mat just on top of concrete.
That's happened to me, by the way. Yes, that I have hit the I've taken a chunk of grass with me once or twice too. I know even the pros do that sometimes, but that makes you look like you really hit it hard when you take a bunch of grass with you. It makes you feel better.
Right? Yeah, it makes you act like that's what you intended to do, right? Take a big divot. So.
Well, if anybody's looking, sometimes I look over my shoulder. Robert Canady can be found at Buckets and Birds out on Twitter. He, of course, covers college basketball for us as well as all things golf. On the major trail here, what's ahead? I mean, June's a big month ahead, right?
Yeah, June is pretty much what we're waiting for now is June. We have a tournament this week down in Texas. It's the Byron Nelson Open Invitational, I should say, and it's lost a little of steam over the years, ever since Byron Nelson passed away, a few years back. It used to be a lot of the players would go down and they'd pay homage to him. He'd sit out there on the patio in his rocking chair and shake hands with them as they all finished. But, he passed away 5, 6, 7 years ago, so it doesn't get as strong a field. Jordan Spieth, it's his hometown, so he's really the only person, I think, in the top 10 playing. And,
we better win then.
No pressure there. But he had a good showing at the on the weekend at the Players. So maybe his games for him and players in the top 10. It's all about the majors. So they're trying to get their game ready for the U.S. Open, which will be coming up in middle of June. Before that, they'll have the Jack Nicklaus's tournament in Ohio, the Memorial, the last weekend of May into June. So that's the real next big one.
U.S. Open's at Shinnecock, right?
It is, yeah. You also referred to bikini wax greens, and that's the stigma they'll be trying to live down. The USGA pretty much made those greens rock hard the last time they were there. I think in 2005 it was, or 2004, 2005, and they got so bad that the grounds crew were out there literally watering the greens between groups coming through because they couldn't even hold the wedges that were being hit into them. So that'll be interesting. It'll
be a big week in New York, especially if Baffert wins this week, because they'll have the Belmont the weekend of the 9th, and then that'll open right up into the U.S. Open right after that the following weekend. So that'll be a huge New York weekend for horse racing and golf. And I know it's always important. That's one of the reasons they go and play there, right? Like they love that whole New York thing for sponsorship and for the athletes and for television and for media and all that stuff. They prefer to get a New York tour in at some point, right?
Oh, absolutely. Every year they, if it's not a major, they'll have some sort of event there, and it's majors in New York City are always fun to watch. As far as you get the New York crowds out there. The last time that was there, they got on Sergio. It was when he was having some issues with his pre-shot routine where he would grip and re-grip his club 25 times, and the crowd would chant along with him. As far as counting his re-grips. So that was neat. The area loves Phil Mickelson. That'll be a big story going into it. Phil's running out of time to win the U.S. Open, which would complete the career Grand Slam for him.
But I know he has no joint pain because I've seen the commercial.
That's right. Yeah, so that will not worry him whether he hits off mats or grass. So it'll be. It usually follows his birthday weekend. Is usually during the U.S. Open. So oftentimes he gets happy birthday serenade. So there's a lot of stories with Phil going into the U.S. Open, which is always good. It gives us something to talk about in the media to write about. The New York crowds always make things fun. So that's definitely something to look forward to coming up middle of June.
Get down to Pasadena and see our friends down at Compass Pointe Golf. Everybody's got it together down there. I had lunch down there with Robert Canady, who is our guest. He's Buckets and Birds out on Twitter and very easy to reach if you're having a corporate golf outing or just want to go hit the ball this weekend amidst the raindrops or when it calms down a little bit. Compass Pointe's got you covered, 36 holes, including great food, a great tee-off spot down there to go practice and some greens as well, and very, very easy to reach. Just don't make the first right turn into the community. Make the second right turn into the golf club. I learned that on my way down toward the water down there in Pasadena. Also stopped by Bella Napoli and got some cream of crab soup. I want to give a shout out to Pasquale down there who made me very, very happy with leftover cream of crab soup on Tuesday before the Caps lost down in D.C. Robert, we will check in again next week. I know you got a lot of stuff going on down there with events, the weather breaking, and I know you have all sorts of charity stuff as well as your league outings and your night golf. We'll send everybody out to compasspointegolf.com, and we'll check back in next week. Might even talk a little college basketball before it's all over with.
That sounds good, Nestor. Hopefully the wives will behave this weekend and we can talk some golf results next week.
No more arrests this week. Keep John Daly's ex-wives off the course as well, all right?
Sounds good, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
Robert Canady, he is Buckets and Birds. He's out at Compass Pointe Golf as well. Big shout out to Mike, the GM down there, as well as Tom, whose Penguins are eliminated. I was looking for some Pittsburgh Penguins down there at Compass Pointe Golf last week. I figured they'd be golfing somewhere. They were not there. Perhaps they were doing Oakmont or something. I don't know. But maybe we should put a webcam out there to find Evgeny Malkin somewhere. You can find me out on the buyatoyota.com audio vault. And Sydney. I shouldn't make fun of the Penguins. I mean, the Caps lost on Tuesday night. Probably will be bad mojo for me to do that. You can find us in the buyatoyota.com audio vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn radio app. We do come in crystal clear from anywhere in the world. Our morning newspaper ships digitally to your email inbox at 7 a.m. It's all brought to you by Planet Fitness. At planetfitness.com, it's $10 a month to get in the best shape of your life. Don't forget the Pimlico and Preakness entries in our morning newspaper this week, as well as on the front of WNST.net. Dennis Kalatzos will be here this Thursday, next Thursday, every Thursday, driving you home from 3 until 5. It is the SSV on WNST. No one more worked up about this Joe Flacco, Lamar Jackson draft, Hayden Hurst, Andrews, all these guys, than Dennis, who's talking plenty of football for it being the month of May on Thursdays. Nasty at WNST.net reaches me. A lot of horse racing this week. Not going to lie, I loaded up on behalf of our partners over at the Maryland Jockey Club. We had enough problems with the rain this week for the Black-Eyed Susan and the Pink Festival and all that stuff. Get on out, support the racetrack this week. Get on out to Old Hilltop as the racing is now here in the Charm City. Nasty at WNST.net reaches me. You can reach me out at Pimlico on Friday. You can reach me at the Baltimore City lockup on Friday as I have jury duty. Jury duty, Caps losses, and nervous energy, and rained out baseball games, and LeBron James on the verge of elimination. Been quite a week around here. Nasty at WNST.net finds me. I am Nestor, and we are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.